Hey everyone, so I've been getting quite a few questions on how to keep track of your people. You're making all of these lists, and some of you are doing pen to paper, which is completely okay, but as you grow in your business, it's going to be very difficult for you to keep track pen and paper because you're going to have to search for people. You can't easily search through notebooks of names, and if I were to do that, I would have thousands and thousands of names written down. It's just not possible. The other problem I see is people are trying to use Facebook as their contact management system. They're just saying, okay, I'm adding all these people, and you're not really keeping track of it. If you don't have a list, if you don't have a contact list, if you don't have ways to keep track of people, you really don't have anything. You don't have a business is what I like to say, because it's something that I've kind of learned through experience. I was just adding friends randomly on Facebook back in the day, just trying to build up my friends list, and anybody and everybody who was involved, I tried to add on Facebook. So I'm going to show you my system that I use. You are more than welcome to use any type of system that you want to use, but I highly recommend that it is a system that you can, one, do on a computer, that you also have access to it on your phone. And I also recommend that you make sure it's something that's duplicatable for your team. So this is going to be something that you'll want to teach your team. So it has to be easy. It has to be something that is definitely duplicatable once they hit a certain point in their business. That's really important. So somebody asked about Excel. I don't use Excel for several reasons. The biggest reason is, one, I just don't like Excel. But the biggest reason is you cannot access it on your phone. And so if I'm out in public and something pops into my head, or I just had a conversation with someone, from a birthday party I was at, I want to be able to quickly jot their name down on my list. I don't want that to be like something I have to add to my list when I get home, because we're not always going to have our laptops with us. So I highly recommend you either use Google Drive spreadsheets. There are a lot of people like Asana. I did not like Asana. I used it. I think I did the trial. I didn't like it because I felt like it wasn't very user-friendly. But this is by far my favorite system I'm about to talk about. So if you want to use Google Drive or Asana, go to YouTube and search for Google Drive or Asana for coaches. You're going to find great videos there. If you ever have any questions about anything, always go to YouTube. Almost all top coaches have made some sort of video about contact management. So anyway, what I use is something called Streak. And this might be brand new to you because it's very, very, very new. But let me just bring this down here. So Streak, to get Streak, you'll see this little thing. You have to have Gmail and you have to be on Google Chrome. I highly recommend, as a new coach or veteran coach, that you have a separate email from your normal email just for your coaching business. It's going to be very beneficial in the long run. So make sure it's easy to give people. So people, if you say brookfit1@gmail.com, they get that. It's easy for them to figure out. If you give them that over the phone, they can email you. So don't make it something long and crazy, or have Beachbody Coach in it anywhere. It's your brain, it's your name. Figure out what you want to do with that. So anyway, you'll go to Google and you'll type in Streak add-on and you'll download it. So it is an add-on that you add to your Gmail account. Once it's downloaded, you'll see over here to the left that you'll have pipelines that you can add over here. When you click New, you'll just click whichever one you want. If you do sales and CRM, when I click on this, you'll see all these little tabs here. So I'm going to show you how I use these here in just a second. So you can rename these any stage you want, or you can move these around. So you can move them around. There's a lot of different options. I'm not going to get too far into that right now because I want to show you how I use it. So for myself personally, I have a different pipeline for different things. So you can see I have Bridal Boot Camp. The ones at the top are the things I'm usually the most active in. So right now it's a Bridal Boot Camp because I had a challenge call out for that. Power Fives, I'll show you that in just a second. Size, this was when Size was being released. This was anyone who was interested in it at all. I have that group of people. And then Size Test Group, and then Coach Prospects, Challenge Prospects. So I'm just going to focus on these right now. So for the challenge prospects, when I click in here, we had you guys make all these lists of people. And, I said, I always like to have so many people on certain lists. And, I always try to have on my dream list, so my dream challenger list, I always try to have 10, 5 at the least, but try to keep that filled up with 10. So this tells me right now I need to find, 5 more people to add to that list. And it's probably going to come from the people who I'm building a relationship with on Facebook. So the KLT list is no love and trust list. And I know a lot of you had some issues with this. Basically, as this is good for a brand new coach, so a brand new coach or a veteran coach who's never thought about it, you go through the people who already know, love, and trust you, best friends, teammates, relatives. Those are people who will go on that list. You will exhaust that list, but there will be people that you add to it periodically who you forgot about. So I still have that list there. And then for my dream list, your dream list is basically anyone who you foresee being a dream coach of yours in the future, but you feel like they need to go through a challenge group first, which is almost all people. If they don't have any idea what Beachbody is, they probably need to go through a challenge group first. So that is what a dream list is. And then help list, I keep a list full of anybody who displays that they need help on Facebook. So it could be someone who says, I need to lose weight before my wedding. I just jot their name down and I make sure that I reach out to them at some point. But before I invite these people, I always build a relationship with them first. So it's not cold inviting, because that's just, I think that's very strange to get a message from someone inviting me to a group. I would not recommend doing that. You're going to burn a lot of bridges there. And then I also have customers. So this section here is just all of my customers. So those are people who have not purchased, they have not purchased a challenge pack, but maybe they bought stuff in the past, or maybe they bought a challenge pack a long time ago and didn't stay on Shakeology. Those are people who could be potential people I would invite to a challenge group. So every month I invite those people. Do I have more than 25 customers? Yes. So what I do is anybody for that month, I keep in here. So these are the people who've ordered stuff in August and a few in July maybe, and they are not in a challenge group yet. So I make sure that they are in this. A lead or interest, this is basically someone who has reached out to me needing help, and they've actually contacted me. So I keep a list of those people. The reason I keep these red are because those are obviously important. So the red, lead, interest, those are people who are reaching out to me. They're ready. So I want to make sure that I'm focusing on those people. And then I also have my stages. So I shared with you guys my script. These are my scripts right here. And so sent link is red because I want to make sure I check in on those people. Add to group, that means I need to add people to a group. Last chance, follow up, and invite to free group. You'll see I have a lot of people I can invite to a free group because these are people who said no. Anyone who says no, I always invite them to a free group or offer some sort of free value to them. Once I have invited someone, so say there's someone on my list and I've sent them a message, I will move them to another part of the group. So let's say that this person says, okay, I'm interested in your challenge group, then what I would do is move her down to contacted. So that means that I've contacted her or she's contacted me back and she's ready. So then the more questions, and I just go into my script. Does it always follow this? Sometimes. It just depends. Don't get all bent out of shape if it's not. Now, how do you add people to these? What's really cool about Streak is, let's say I want to add someone to my dream list. I don't have to have an email from them or anything. It still saves their information. So let's say I'm going to add someone and then I want to just make some notes. Let's say reached out to me. So in this box, you can actually add reminders to this person. So let's say that they were interested in size. I could make a reminder and say I'm having the conversation with them on Facebook. I usually like to put there any notes about them. So I usually put their Facebook link here so I know where they're at. And then I usually, if they've told me their goals, I'll have that here, and any other information. And then up here is usually like the last time I chatted with them. So I could say, wants to order size on Monday. And so I could actually add a reminder and say check if ordered. And pick the day. I could say she's supposed to do it on Monday, set due date. Okay, so that'll actually pop up in my inbox as a task that needs to be done. I need to check with her and see if she ordered. So that's one reason I really love this. So if this was someone who said that they were going to order, I obviously sent them a link. So now they're going to be in my sent link. So then whenever I log in here on Monday, I'll see that, oh, I sent this person a link, and there we go. I sent this person the link and they haven't ordered yet. And anybody who's been somewhere for more than 3 days, except for the people who said no, anyone who's been somewhere for more than 3 days is when I send a follow-up. Now my lists, they don't matter how many days they're here, because I'm building a relationship with them. I'm not quite ready to invite them. That's not something I want to do yet. And same thing with coach prospects. So if I have a coach prospect, I've got my dream team list here. And then I've got in conversation, my follow-ups, and you can put pretty much anything you want in here, but if somebody's definitely not interested, I will put that they're not interested right now, and then invite to sneak peek. These are people who were kind of interested, not real sure, never got back to me. It's just a really good way to just say, hey, I'm doing a sneak peek into coaching. I would love to have you in that group. And then you'll see also, I also have one of these for my coaches. Just watch my streak video on YouTube. I'm not going to go through all this. But the one thing I did want to show you is my power of fives. So, we have power hours, and we usually say add 5 friends a day, message 5 people, and invite 5 people to coaching and challenge groups, follow up with 5 people. So this is my powers here. So I actually have 6 that I do. So it is basically 5 because this one doesn't count. But I add people to Facebook. I find them, I hunt them down on Facebook based on certain things. And then I build value. So once they have added me, so this is, guys, I'm telling you that today, just today, I have added all these people. And so far, let me just go here. I would say, so far, 5 of them have already accepted my friend requests. So what I will do is, if someone has requested my friend or added me and accepted it, now it's time for me to build value with these people. So I have all of these sections here, all these people here who I'm building value with. And I'll put notes over here. Why did I add them? They had 2,000 plus friends, and we had a lot of friends in common. So I look at how many friends they have, or how many friends we have in common. And I write down why I'm even adding them on Facebook. It's not just randomly. Most of these people are coming from my like page, and if that's so, I will put them, I'll put that over here and say like page. If it's someone I'm adding from my like page, like I added them, then what I'll do, like let's just go over here, see if there's anybody I'm not friends with. So let's say I'm not friends with this person. She's a coach. Let me go to another post. I actually just added this person the other day because she actually asked me, even though she works for Isogenics, I'm interested in her. So I could add her to another list. And what I would want to do is make sure that I put her on like page. So I know she came from my like page, and that I added her in August. And I just make sure that I put these people on a list. You want to create a new list, you go here. If you don't know how to do these lists, go to YouTube and YouTube it. I also have a YouTube video about that. Because then what happens is when I go to these lists, I can interact and build value with them. Hey, Josh. So what I can do is, if they came from, let's say, I'll say added August, or added me. So these people have all added me, or let's say that hold on just a second. lost connection for a second. Let me go to like page ads. So these are people who liked or commented on my like page ads. So I added them on my page here. So these people who are on these, what I would do is just go in and interact with their stuff because I want to build up the relationship with them. I just added that person not too long ago, and you'll see that she should be on a list. Yeah, she's actually on my dream team list. She's also a dental hygienist, and she came from a like page ad. So she's on my dream team list. So what happens is I'm just building value with her. So she was on this list at one point in time, but then I moved her over to my coach prospect dream team list. I don't just automatically put people on my dream team list. I wait until I've built a little bit of value with them, a little bit, or a relationship, and then I will add them to that group. List. I don't keep them on there all the time because these are people I don't really know. Yeah, they might look like my dream team coach, but I don't really know them until I've interacted with them for a while on Facebook. I'm not going to put them on one of my dream team lists, if that makes sense. So these are people I'm building value with. And once I get to a certain point where I feel like I've built enough value to feel like they would be a dream team coach of mine, then I will put them on that other list. It's easy to do. All you do is click here and I will move them to coach prospects, and then I will put them on that dream team list. So it's super simple. Again, you can link people's emails. So I'm not going to go into that because my video about Streak has all of that there. So I don't want to go, too far into that. But people were saying that they, I added 19 plus friends today, and you only need to add 5 to 10 a day, but you can do a lot more than that. It is really, really easy to find friends to add to Facebook, guys. It's harder to find people to invite, but how do you think you find those people to invite? You have to add them, you build value, you build the relationship with them. Then once it gets to a certain point, you can invite them. And this is how I do it. So let's say this is someone who I'm interested in being in one of my challenge groups. What I would do is just be interacting on her posts. So I'll go in there and comment or interact and be like, that's cute. And then over time, what's going to happen is she's going to see my posts. So she's going to see more of my posts. And if she starts liking my stuff, it's almost like the universal sign of, okay, I'm okay if you sent me a message, it's not going to be creepy. So if I sent her a message at this point in time, it's not going to be creepy because we've been commenting back and forth on each other's stuff, and she's actually, liked some of my stuff. So if I sent her a message and just said, hey, how are you? What I would do is I'd go to her page and find something to talk about. This would be perfect. Hey, I love that monogram sweatshirt you posted. Is there any way that I can maybe get that for IU? Because that's where I went to school, and crack a joke, whatever. It opens up the conversation and it takes all the pressure off. And then you just start asking questions after question after question until you get to the point where it's normal for you to say, you know what, I have a health and fitness group coming up. I was wondering if maybe you would be interested in that because I really feel like you would do awesome in that group. But it usually comes up naturally because they're going to go to your page and see if she's already interacting on my stuff. They're going to see some of the stuff I've been posting about, and they're going to be like, okay, she's into health and fitness. I wonder what she's doing. If I'm not posting about it, then they're not going to know. Or she's going to go to my page and be like, oh, she has, a like page. Wow. It looks like she hosts, fitness groups. So they're usually going to ask me about that without me having to do any work. So it's very, very easy to do these conversations. Just, in one day, and I'm just going to be honest, guys, I don't add 5 friends a day. I like to do it, in chunks. So I'll pick 3 or 4 days a week where I go and I add a lot of friends, and then I just make sure I'm building value with those people. So, like I was saying, with my list of friends of people that I've added, I make sure that I go in there and interact with them so that they see more of my stuff. Also, if it's someone who's on my dream team, I want to go in there and interact with their stuff. So I make sure that I do that. And that's how you build the relationship enough to be able to open up the door of conversation. Sometimes that conversation never leads to an invite to a group. That's okay. At least you're dropping breadcrumbs. And if you're being consistent in your posting in your last 5 posts on your page, show that you're into health and fitness and that you help other people. They're going to naturally come to you at some point in time. I almost guarantee it. So that's how you can create the conversations. And somebody was asking me, how do you move a conversation from Facebook Messenger to email? I don't do that, especially with people who are on these lists, people who have not reached out to me about a challenge group. These are people who don't really know me that well yet, or people who I haven't built a relationship with enough to invite them. So if I haven't invited them, they're going to be on these lists. So what I want to do is I'm interacting with them, I'm engaging with them on Facebook, and then say the conversation leads to the point of us talking about health and fitness. I'll ask about their health and fitness goals. I go through my script. Once I get to their goals, I will say, you know what, I could really help you with that. I'm very confident that I could help you get to that goal. Would you like me to send you some recommendations? They say yes. That's when I get their email, and I say, you know what, go ahead and send me your email, because it's going to be a lot easier to send you my recommendations through email. And I reserve my email for my VIPs because I can get in contact with you much faster through there. So I've never had anybody not give me their email, and then I open up the conversation through email. Let's say someone gives me their email. I'm just going to type in my other email here. And I want to send them info, so recommendations. So I'm going to make it really personal at the beginning. I'm going to use my script. I'm going to say, based off the information you've told me, I want to go ahead and ask a few more questions if you need to, or these are the things that I recommend. Do you have a couple minutes to watch these videos? So I'll send the email right when they've sent this to me, and then I'll send them another Facebook message and say, I just emailed you. The videos that I sent you are just about 2 minutes long. So if you could go ahead and watch those, that would be great. And then I can go ahead and figure out a plan for you, or however the natural conversation goes. But then I let them know, just contact me through through email, because it's going to be a lot easier. So anyway, I would send them the information. So say I sent them something, and then what will happen is they will, when you go to sent mail, you can add that email to a box. So let's say I'm going to create a new box, but I would probably already have a box for them because it's someone who maybe I was already building a relationship with. So you can see where these other people already have boxes. But let's say that I'm making a box, and then I'm going to put it in Challenger Prospects. So here I go into Challenger Prospects. Now I can go over here and put this on lead, interest, or contacted. So I'd say contacted because I sent them information, but I'm sending them videos because I already did step 1 and 2 on my Facebook Messenger. So I'm jumping right into videos through email, and I'll say speaking on Facebook, blah, 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 and put in their information. I always like to put their goals here, and I'll show you how I did this with my bridal boot camp. So these are all my people in my bridal boot camp. You can see that there are people who I've sent last chances to. I want you guys to know, whenever you start inviting, you're going to get a lot of no's, and that's completely normal. But if you're having a lot of conversations and keeping track of these, you have a lot of people to talk to when you don't think you do. These are people who I sent last chances to because they haven't responded yet. And I usually only let them stay in those about 3 days. So if I sent someone, so say I sent the cost to this person, if it was 3 days, I would go ahead and send last chance. So that's basically saying, hey, I'm closing out my group. I'm not going to be adding any more people. Do you want me to save your spot or open it up to someone on the wait list? If I sent the link and they still haven't ordered, so it's been 2 days since I sent the link, I'm going to send these people a message. And then once they've been in last chance and they don't respond, I put them in invite to free group. Need call is if someone needs to get on the phone to discuss the challenge pack, or just go through the phone instead of email. These are people who've purchased. I need to add them to the group. And then these are people who I need to follow up with. So people who I need to follow up with are people who are not necessarily last chance, but people who have reached out to me and said, yes, I'm still interested, I'm just really busy. So they didn't say that they weren't interested, and they didn't not respond to me, but they were just saying, yeah, I just needed to take some time to look over the information. So I'll put them in follow-up to remind me, hey, Brooke, you need to follow up. So what happens, I'll just click on one of these people here. So let's say I'm talking to this person. You'll see that their emails are linked here. So they filled out the Wufoo account, or the Wufoo form I had on my page, and I just put all their information over here. Because when I start to have the conversation with this person, so whenever we started the conversation, I was able to read through her goals over here. And as the conversation moves on, I always have their goals right here. I have their struggles. I have what they're currently doing. Any other information. She's getting married on May 21st. Here's her phone number. Lives in LA. Any other important information I will put over there. So I just love this system. It's definitely my favorite. I'm not going to go too far into this anymore today because I know it's a lot of information. But I just try to make sure that I keep everybody in what I call a box to keep them organized. So these are all people who were interested, filled out my form for the bridal boot camp. Lead or interest means that they didn't fill out the form, but they added me and told me they were interested. So I haven't contacted them yet, but I will. People who I've contacted, and this is my script that I go through with them. And like I said, at the end of each one, so like just for size, the size release, I have 31 people who said no. So you're going to get a lot of no's, but I also had 50-something Success Club points that month because I was very diligent in my follow-ups. And then this is my size test group. So I also have a group for all the people who are actually accepted or joined my challenge, who bought a challenge pack, and I send them a series of emails just to kind of keep them on track and keep up with them. And then, so yeah, if you're hosting a certain group, like I do every month, I usually have a particular group, then I like to have one box for them, moving them through the conversation if it's a particular group. If it's just someone who I'm going to invite to my next challenge group, like it's not a particular group, they're not in the bridal boot camp, they're not in the size test group, then they go into my challenger prospect group. Because these are people who I need to add to a group or move them along and hopefully get them into a group. Because they've reached out to me or they've expressed interest or they're on my list. So I hope that makes sense. I hope it's not confusing and I hope it helps. If you have any questions, just let me know. Bye guys.